everyone, and welcome back to Movin' Right Along, the Muppet Movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. It's the podcast where we watch the Muppet Movie 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Anthony Strand.
And I'm your other host, Ryan Rowe.
And today we're looking at minutes number 7 and 8 of the Muppet Movie, in which we pick up Kermit singing the Rainbow Connection, and we finish with Kermit having just finished singing the Rainbow Connection, and the entrance of Dom DeLuise as Bernie the Agent, who gets 3 lines in the
Yes. Yeah, so the thing about watching the Muppet Movie 2 minutes at a time is you occasionally come across a minute like this or a snippet like this where almost the entire thing is just one song.
Right. And, of course, it's a gorgeous song.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's as we discussed last time, it's one of the greatest songs ever written for a movie, I think.
I don't think that's an exaggeration.
But, right. So, it's not like James Frawley needed to do much to spice it up visually. You know, I mean, because he tries. He really does try to keep it pretty visually interesting. You know, we get that great shot of Kermit's reflection.
Yeah, I actually wrote down, I typed out in italics, the reflection is beautiful.
Right. Sure, I agree. So, I mean, there are some things like that. You know, it keeps changing shots. It's not like it's a static shot of a puppet sitting on a log.
Yeah.
Right? James Frawley is doing his best to make it cinematic, I would say.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But he really didn't even need to, because it's such a gorgeous song.
It's a good song,
and it's just such a pleasure.
Yeah, and paying close attention to it this time, I really noticed how good the arrangement is. Because a lot of times you hear somebody just, they'll play it on the piano, or, you know, somebody on a YouTube video playing it on the guitar or something, but just the strings and the whole orchestra playing on this song, it really just, it really soars.
Right. So it soars so much that you don't even question the fact that it's not just a band, right?
Well, yeah. So Kermit's playing the banjo. Where's the rest of the orchestra? Right.
Kermit's playing a banjo, and we hear an entire orchestra.
If Mel Brooks had directed this movie, it would have cut to an orchestra floating somewhere on the swamp.
Right. That's true. It would have. I think it's fine that it doesn't.
Yes, definitely.
But speaking of the arrangement being beautiful, one of the things I had in my notes was actually, is there a better key change in any song ever than, I think that it's probably Magic, right? I'm no Jim Henson, but man, that key change.
Yeah, it just hits you.
Perfect.
And like so many things in this movie, it becomes even better when you've seen the movie many times and you know it and you're just anticipating it, and then it hits you and it's great all over again. Right.
And, you know, I would say either one of us, we're both in our 30s. I'm sure both of us have seen this movie 50 times, conservative estimate.
Sometimes I wish that I had kept count through my entire life, although that would have had to start with my parents counting. But
right.
Yeah, I would love to know how many times I've seen this.
The foresight.
Yes, I
wish your parents had the foresight to think, I bet 30 years from now, Lil Ryan will be running a Muppet fan site, and he will need to know how many times he's seen the Muppet movie.
That would have been incredible foresight.
Especially because they had a concept of what a fan site was in 1984.
Yeah.
When we first started Muppet. So before we move on, I mean, obviously there's a lot of Rainbow Connection stuff we should talk about. I wanted to look up how many times Kermit has actually sung the Rainbow Connection, and I'll be honest, I lost count just because Steve Whitmire has sung the Rainbow Connection so many times as Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I know Jim Henson did it a number of times. I mean, Jim
Henson did it twice after the Muppet Movie.
Oh, is that
3 times if we count. 3 times if we count Celebration of 30 Years, right, which ends with the single.
Okay.
You know, the Celebration of 30 Years TV special, I should clarify, the Celebration of 30 Years TV special from 1986 ends with all of the Muppets singing along with Rainbow Connection.
Right.
Right? So Kermit is there, and Kermit is part of it. But other than that, the only 2 times he ever sang it as Kermit after this were the Debbie Harry episode of The Muppet Show,
right,
is a duet with Debbie Harry, and Muppets at Walt Disney World as a duet with 5-year-old Raven
With
Simone.
Raven Simone, yeah. Didn't he sing it at the Oscars, though, the year it was nominated?
Did he? I thought that they didn't do the song performance at the. I've never seen it. Have you?
Oh, this is one of those. This is one of those times when people are going to be listening and going, "No, of course he did, you fool," or "No, of course he didn't, you fool."
Right. Well, I just looked at the list of Muppet performances earlier today, and I did not notice that on the list. Let's see. Rainbow Connection. So, Kermit at the Academy Awards. You were right. You were right.
Kermit at the Academy Awards, 1980.
Yeah. So you were right. He did do it at the Oscars that year.
Okay, so Jim Henson did it a few times, but then Steve Whitmire did it many, many times because it was just like such an easy go-to thing for Kermit to do when he was on a talk show or any kind
Right.
of.
Well, and looking over the list on Muppet Wiki, especially in the last 10 or so years,
yeah,
it's just been almost constant. Like you said, talk shows, he did it on, like, the two that jumped out at me is that he performed the Rainbow Connection on Extreme Makeover Home Edition and The Bachelorette.
oh, I didn't know he did it on Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I was actually there in Hondo, Texas, when Kermit stuck his head out of the bus and then drove the bus to reveal the house behind it. That was exciting. But he did not sing Rainbow Connection that day.
You were not there to hear him sing Rainbow Connection, and according to Muppet Wiki, accompanied by Paul DeMeo on guitar. But
cool.
Yeah,
I don't know who
he
that
did it
is.
on Good Morning America. What's that?
I said I don't know who that is.
No, I don't either. And his Muppet Wiki page is he doesn't have one. He has a red link. No, so Kermit's done it on Queen Latifah's talk show, on the red carpet at the Grammys one year. Just all of these things that every time they needed Steve Whitmire to play Kermit somewhere, they trotted out Rainbow Connection, which it seems like he didn't sing Being Green. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Steve Whitmire sang Being Green at some point, right?
He
but
must
not
have.
with this much frequency.
Right. And I think trotted out is a good word for it because this might also be a difference between the Jim Henson era and the post-Jim Henson era, but there are these things that sort of become like, I don't know, I just can't imagine Jim wanting to sing this every time he went on a talk show. But at a certain point, it's like, oh, Kermit is this old beloved character, and everybody knows that he sings Rainbow Connection, so let's have him sing Rainbow Connection again.
Right. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about among the people who thought that Kermit should sing Rainbow Connection are Nick Stoller, Jason Segel, and James Bowman.
Right.
In putting together the 2011 film The Muppets, which of course the big climax of the telethon is, sure enough, Kermit singing Rainbow Connection.
And I've talked about this before on the website, toughpigs.com, and I'm sure everyone listening has read every article that I've ever written. But I'll say it again, that by the time we got to that performance in that movie, I realized that the song had kind of lost some of its power or some of its emotional wallop for me, just because we've heard it so many times.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree, and this is something we'll talk about in 7 years,
Yeah.
when we get to the Muppets.
Stay tuned, everyone.
Right. But yeah, it just that performance feels so soulless compared to this one.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. It just felt sort of rote, or like, okay, let's do Rainbow Connection. That'll make them cry. And then I did hear people say it, and I know they were sincere about it. That like, oh, I cried at that part in the movie. That was it was people's favorite part of the movie. But I was just kind of like, oh, all right, they're singing this again.
But again, I think that those are people by and large, and this is this is the majority of the people who saw that movie. Didn't watch Kermit on Good Morning America. Didn't watch Kermit on Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Right, that's a great point. These are not people who are paying attention to everything Kermit the Frog does. Right.
So it felt like two old friends, Kermit and the song, that they hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we shouldn't talk about that movie too much. I do want to point out one more thing. Kermit also sang it on their short-lived TV show on ABC a couple of years ago.
That's the one where
The
he
episode with
was
the blackout.
in the backyard?
Yeah, ends with him in his backyard, in his like little swamp backyard, singing Rainbow Connection by himself. With them, like to me, that moment felt much sweeter than the one where he does it on stage.
I agree, and it also though had the joke where he starts playing the song and his neighbor yells, "Get a new song!" Right?
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, that I loved.
That's right. Yeah, and again, I've seen most of those episodes once, so I should probably revisit that series at some point.
Yeah.
But first, I should revisit the rest of the Muppet Movie.
You should.
What else happened in these minutes?
Well, I also wanted to mention. So we already talked about how the song lost an Oscar for best song that year, but many people have covered the song other than Kermit singing it a million times. Notable covers include The Carpenters, Bob McGrath, Kenny Loggins, Lea Salonga, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, which was used in the credits of Kermit Swamp Years, Willie Nelson, Sarah McLachlan, Jason Mraz, Weezer and Haley Williams on the Green Album compilation, The Whiffin' Poofs, and then one of the best, Paul Williams did this crazy trippy version of it on the Nickelodeon show Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, wow, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh yeah, you should look that up. Yeah. I don't think I've heard most of these covers, but I'm sure all of those people did a good job with it.
Sure. The one that certainly is most memorable to me is Willie Nelson, which my wife and her dad, one of the few things that they could agree on to share as their father-daughter dance at my wedding was Willie Nelson's cover of Rainbow Connection.
Oh.
Because Willie Nelson is my father-in-law's favorite singer of all time, and Kermit the Frog is one of my wife's.
That's really nice.
Kermit's not on that recording, but yeah, it was something that they could both agree on.
Yeah, it's a good thing Willie Nelson recorded that then.
For sure, yeah. So, speaking of people who have worked with the Muppets, such as Willie Nelson, another one is Dom DeLuise, who makes his appearance here.
It's true, at the very end. Who is Dom DeLuise? Who indeed?
Who? For those who might not, and to me, it's funny because Dom DeLuise is one of those people who I feel like I've always known who that was, and I'm not sure why.
That's interesting.
You know, of course, I saw this movie a lot as a kid, and but for the most part, what he was most famous for in his prime was being in a lot of Mel Brooks movies. Right? He's in Blazing Saddles briefly. He's in Silent Movie. Later on, he would be in Spaceballs and
History of the World Part 1.
History of the World Part 1, right.
He's also in the 12 Chairs.
12 Chairs, right. Mel Brooks' second movie. So he did a lot of Mel Brooks movies. He did a lot of work with Burt Reynolds. He was in The End. They were in Cannonball Run together a little bit after this.
Yep.
They were in Smokey and the Bandit Part 2.
Guess who else was in Smokey and the Bandit Part 2?
Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
And Paul Williams. He's everywhere.
Oh, there you go. And also another film that he did with Burt Reynolds was All Dogs Go to Heaven. And I think that's where millennials, and young side Gen Xers maybe know Dom DeLuise best. He was in a ton of movies for Don Bluth.
Right.
A ton of them. He was in Secret of NIMH. He was in American Tail and Five Goes West.
Mm-hmm.
All Dogs Go to Heaven. He was in A Troll in Central Park. And playing very similar characters in every one.
Yeah,
just
definitely.
kind of an excited but overwhelmed, character in every one of these movies. And that voice is unmistakable. Also Disney's Oliver and Company. He played the lightest version of Charles Dickens' Fagin, who has ever been committed to film.
Right. I definitely at a young age made the connection, like, oh, that voice in The Secret of NIMH is the same as the one in An American Tail.
Right. Yeah, he's so distinctive. Yeah. Did you connect it with this scene in the Muppet as a young person?
I don't know when I figured out that was the same guy also. Probably not when I was watching this as a little kid.
Yeah. Me neither, but again, he's one of those people that I remember watching this as maybe not a little kid, but like certainly 9, 10, being like, oh, here's Dom DeLuise.
Yeah.
Here's Dom DeLuise, doming it up,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, here's something that occurred to me. I generally, when I think of Dom DeLuise, I picture him with a beard. Because I think he had a beard for most of his career. But he doesn't yet here, and he didn't in his second season episode of The Muppet Show. So then I got to wondering, when did Dom DeLuise grow a beard? So
He doesn't have it in Haunted Honeymoon. That's 80.
no, yeah. So I started clicking through movie posters and stuff on IMDb. He doesn't have the beard here. He had it in the movies Holy Moses and Smokey and the Bandit Part 2, which came out the following year. He didn't have it in History of the World Part 1, which also came out the following year. So, when you consider that movies take time to film and edit and get produced, my guess is that he grew the beard sometime in 1979, and that is the answer to that very important question.
There you go. Also, one more very important note about Dom DeLuise's career. He worked with puppets again as a regular series on the Shea Lewis show, Charlie Horse Music Pizza on PBS.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which was the spin-off of Lamb Chop's Play-Doh.
Right, he was on the Lamb Chop, Hanukkah, and Passover special, which I don't... did that come before Charlie Horse Music Pizza?
I think it must have, because I feel like Charlie Horse Music Pizza went into production, and Shea Lewis died not that... Like, I think they did, like, a season. And then Shea Lewis died.
Okay. But I do have a vague memory of seeing him interact with David Hasselhoff as a guest star on the Charlie Horse Music Pizza show.
Charlie Horse Music Pizza.
Yeah, and then there was another... he worked on another puppet-related movie. He was the voice of the title character in the movie Munchie, which was like a weird sort of family-friendly spin-off of the movie Munchies, which I think is one of those Gremlins knockoffs from the 80s.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
I remember Munchie being on the Disney Channel a lot, like in the early 90s. But I looked up the credits. As far as I can tell, none of the puppeteers who worked on Munchie were in any Henson projects.
Huh. Are you going to mention that Munchie is also your dog's name?
Munchie is the name of my dog. It's true. It's spelled differently. The movie title is Munchie, and the dog is Munchy.
And that's how you know that your dog is not the Munchie.
He's not a weird creature voiced by Dom DeLuise.
All right, so on that note, do we have anything else to say for minutes 7 and 8?
I just had two other semi-interesting notes about Rainbow Connection. One is that the song was number 74 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs list. Seems a little low to me, given people's fondness for it, but still nice that it made the list. However, it was number 1 on toughpigs.com's top 60 Kermit moments.
Oh, yeah. I contributed to that.
Yes, you did. That was a list that we put together in 2015 for Kermit's 60th anniversary. So
60th birthday or anniversary.
So here it is, folks, the number 1 Kermit moment.
Number 1. If you want to see the number 1 Kermit moment, watch his most popular and enduring film.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes. And then at the very end of this minute, Dom DeLuise says the line, you with the banjo. And I've always loved the way that he emphasizes the second syllable of banjo. He doesn't say you with the banjo. He says you with the banjo. I just like that.
Sure, yeah. And on that note, we are going to close for today. Join us again next week, where we will discuss 2 more minutes of the Muppet Movie. And in the meantime, please check out toughpigs.com. It's available on the internet, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on a variety of other platforms.
Everywhere.
We will see you next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Bye.